People, what up, though? OG Kenny, O_G_Kenny, at Retired from the Streets TV. I gotta cover this topic of one of the most infamous and widespread drug use, or drugs of choice, when it comes to institutional settings like prison, right? Prison specifically. Seroquel. Matter of fact, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start this off with this video from this doctor, and she's gonna explain to you what Seroquel is.
Seroquel XR, the brand name form of quetiapine, is a prescription medication used to treat schizophrenia and bipolar disorder in adults. Seroquel XR belongs to a group of drugs called antipsychotics. The exact way it works is unclear, but it is proposed to regulate certain chemicals in the brain. This medication comes in extended-release tablet form and is usually taken once daily with or without food. Common side effects of Seroquel XR are dizziness, dry mouth, and drowsiness. Do not drive or operate heavy machinery until you know how Seroquel XR affects you. As is always the case, take this medication only if your healthcare provider prescribes it for you. For RxWiki, I'm Bethany Molstein.
So, Bethany Molstein from RxWiki TV, right? I get introduced to Seroquel in the county jail in 2007. My little bro Fetty, his real name Will. Shout out to my man Will. Will doing a lot of time. I'm gonna do an episode on Will. Will doing a lot of time for some garbage too, right? But Will was getting these Seroquel, and he was breaking them boys down. And the day before court date, he'd pop a piece, right? So the drowsiness that they're talking about, the sleepiness that's associated with it, like the side effects, they don't tell you about the mood swings when you're coming down off of it, or you're groggy as hell the next day, right? You so bitchy, you would think you're on a man version of a period. You understand what I'm saying? So what Will used to do, like I said, would break a piece off here and there, because the night before court, anybody ever been to the county jail and had to go to court the next morning? But one, they wake your ass up super early. You're getting up 4 or 5 in the morning so that you can get up and ready, and then you wait forever down the hall from your damn manger holding tank or whatever, and another holding cell for probably another hour or so. Then they take you down and eat a bullshit breakfast, right? Milk, cereal, Doro, juice, right? You eat that garbage. You wait another hour or two just to go to the courthouse's bullpen, and you wait another hour or two. So usually you're on edge the night before. You can't sleep, and you got a lot on your mind because it's nerve-wracking. I'm pretty sure it's the same process when you're in the street when you got court the next day, because I didn't went to court from the streets before a couple of times. Usually I was going to court from the county jail. You understand what I'm saying? It's a nerve-wracking experience, and what most dudes do is, if they find a hold of some drugs, or they get a hold of something like Seroquel, something that's a downer, right? Because it's going to depress your system. Because what she's not telling you, with the bipolar disorder and the schizophrenia, the Seroquel is really meant to control racy thoughts. As a matter of fact, I want you to hear this this doctor speak about that.
Why do prisons prescribe Seroquel to inmates? Hey Jimmy, I guess you're asking for sleep. Look, I can only presume it's an old drug. It's easy to reach for. They're not doing the latest research. It sort of knocks people down, so they're easy to control. The prisoners probably like it because there's some abuse potential for it, and it just works all around for everybody. But it certainly isn't the go-to medication for sleep. Dr. D, why do prisons prescribe?
So you heard what he said. It puts you down. It makes you easy to control, right? And a lot of times, he said that a lot of times they're not doing the latest research. So I remember a list of side effects that was associated with Seroquel. I found out later on. But my introduction to it was county jail, taking a piece of it, right? I think it was like maybe 25 milligrams worth. And it gave you a real sleepy, almost as if you had smoked a couple of blunts to the face, right? Excuse me. It gave you a couple of blunt effects. And maybe a double shot where you kind of like this, right? You can't keep your eyes open, you know? It's an opioid, right? So what it does is it depresses your system, and it gives you the helly munchies too. So a lot of people that end up on Seroquel long term have residual weight gain because of that, because your body is constantly craving bullshit food and you constantly putting garbage in your system. Now, that was my intro to Seroquel. I didn't know how widespread this drug was until I actually went to prison. Got sentenced to prison in '08 for my second time, and I get on the yard and I see how popular this shit is. Everybody on it. Everybody and their mama. I got homies from the streets who used to hustle. Regular everyday dudes. Didn't even know nothing was wrong with them, right? Well, I didn't think about that. But when they call Medline, them dudes would stop the conversation short. You could be standing there telling me, hey, dog, what's so girl named around the corner with the fat? Remember the fatty? Cute as hell? Nice. Medline, he out. I swear to God. You would be like, hey, bro. Dudes used to run and make a beeline to the med line. And the line used to be wrapped. The line used to be wrapped. So which spoke a lot to what? The addictive nature of the drug. Because dudes were having withdrawal symptoms when they couldn't get a hold to them Seroquel, especially if they weren't prescribed to them. Because you got a lot of dudes who didn't like the medication, who they were prescribed to and who had been on them long term. So they would sell them to the other inmates. So I ended up being one of the ones who was getting a monopoly on them at one time. Well, not a monopoly, but I had a stronghold in a couple of units when it came to buying them from dudes. And I would pop, you know what I mean? I'll pop dudes off, which means that I give you a couple of them. I give you one or two, right? What we used to do, we used to take a 300 milligram Seroquel, crush it up, put it in a 32 ounce jug of black coffee, whip it up. Me and my dude, John, my dude, Eddie Colazzo, my dude, Dante Gaskin, all of us. This is when I first met them dudes, right? We'd sit there, stir that thing up, and it's my mug. So at the bottom, all that residue, whoever around me at the last minute, once we finish the coffee and passing it around, we're going to throw a little extra coffee in there or some water and knock that off. Now, the first time I ever did that, I did it with this dude, Matt. I think Matt's last name was Kostner or Kosher or Copeland or something. It's a crazy little white dude, and I forget what city he was from, but he clinged to me a lot because when I first got to Camp Branch, where I met these dudes at, I had just got kicked out of Parnell facility for I tried to rob a dude. I got locked in the cell. It didn't go good. I'll tell y'all that story later. But I get locked in this dude's cell, shipped out, get there. I'm waiting on all this tobacco I got and property. And I'm like, hey, dude, you know somebody selling the TV? This Matt, the white dude. He like, I do. So I said, find me a TV, bro. I'm going to not only pay you, you know what I mean, but it's going to be love from now on. So he went on that mission. He come back. He found me one. My property didn't catch up. I guess they got mad about how I played that situation with that robbery attempt. And they kept a lot of my stuff and threw away a lot of my stuff and discarded it, right? On some honorary shit, which is what they do. I'm trying to prove a point to you, right? So Matt started being my go-to guy for every little thing. So he come one day like, hey, man, you want to snort a half a Klonopin with me? I'm like, Klonopin? What the hell is a Klonopin? He's like a little ass pill. Some, keeps you mellow. You be like smooth. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm on some rock star shit. I got all this time to be on top of this bunk. Last time I ever put something in my nose was a half a Klonopin. And he like, I'm like, shit, I don't like that feel. I don't like that. When they go in here and they get burning, whack, to me. So I didn't like it. But it didn't do nothing. It just had, I guess you had to take the whole thing to really feel something. It was like, whatever, right? Or maybe I still had a high tolerance for the liquor and weed from the streets in me. Who knows? Anyway, he said, I know a dude get the Seroquels. I'm like, Seroquel, I remember them from the county. The one jumps. But he getting hundreds? Like, no, this guy gets threes. I'm like, ooh, we could break them down and bust them down and sell them. He's like, exactly. I said, okay, bet. So every day, it's about 3 or 4 dudes in the one unit. I used to buy their pill from them. And I think these dudes was getting threes maybe twice a day. Anyway, I was accumulating these pills, right? And then we was taking them, breaking them down, putting them in the tips of gloves like sacks. Bopping them off the dudes, bag of coffee. We weren't paying nothing but like $1 or so a pill. We breaking that boy down, making that bread because everybody wasn't letting go of their pills and everybody couldn't get them. But that combination of that coffee and that Seroquel will have you up, down, up. I guess the best way I can explain it is what they say a speedball is, right? When you put an up and a down and you mix it so you all over the place, it definitely gonna give you that ride. The problem is the dehydration, the dizziness, the grogginess, the mood swings you have. And trust me, this is one that I was doing on a regular basis. I tried this about on and off about 2 weeks because they had let me out of the segregation hole early. And they said you're gonna be on your bunk for the next month because we let you out of the hole early, which meant I had to sit on my damn bunk all day until somebody came and said, hey, you can go to the bathroom, go take a shower. Couldn't go outside, right? So I'm like, I'm gonna ride a little wave right quick. This is to pass this little time. But I promise you, that was the last time I ever touched anything stronger than some weed or alcohol on a prescription drug level because of the fact that it just had me a funky ass mood, man. I was temperamental. I wanted to, it'd be dudes that be talking, and as if they talk too much, I want to slap them out of nowhere. And I'm like, damn, this ain't even me. I don't like this feeling, this aggression that it's making me have. It was like pent up aggression, you know what I mean? I didn't like that feeling. They don't tell you a lot of times when they're prescribing this stuff to you that it's going to have you in a manic state sometimes. Especially if you're taking it. It's not prescribed to you, but when they're prescribing this, I think they need to explain that that's part of the side effects. I think this older dude, he had a hard on that lasted for too long as an effect of Seroquel, and they did say that in the paperwork that one of the side effects was abnormal erections. Right? I'm gonna play this dude's version of
My name's Corey Elderton, and this is my review on Seroquel.
And this is his review.
Alright, so let me tell y'all a story. Alright, so what happened was I broke my hand back a while ago.
I'm gonna speed it up some.
I guess what I've found out is it's a antipsychotic and a anti-seizure medication. Don't take Seroquel with NyQuil. Yeah, that was a bad combination. Don't do that. You shouldn't drink. I wouldn't recommend drinking on Seroquel. When I first started taking it, in the mornings when I woke up, I would be highly irritable.
You hear that?
Just quick to jump on anything, just miserable, just Eeyored out in life.
I promise you.
I guess that's kind of gone away.
That's the part I was trying to get to. That highly irritated state that you be in the next day after that mess, man. They call it penitentiary heroin. And when we used to mix it with that coffee, they used to call it penitentiary lean. You'll mix it with, not with the coffee. They call that grown lady, but with the Kool-Aid. You mix that Seroquel with that Kool-Aid, make that Kool-Aid real sweet, because that Seroquel is terrible tasting, but they used to call that penitentiary lean, that syrup, that oil. And a lot of dudes got addicted to that. I seen homeboys, like I say, was addicted and strung out on Seroquel. And I think most of them came from drug use in the streets. You know what I mean? Outside of Suboxones, which is a whole other story, Seroquel is one of the most addictive and life-altering drugs that I've seen in prison, how it affected dudes' moods, how it affected how they things that they did on the yard that got them sent to segregation that they probably would have never done had they not been so heavily sedated. And what prisons do a lot of times is, even if you don't need the damn medication, right? You just in there saying, hey, I want this because I can't sleep. That's one of the famous lines dudes do in prison when they want to get some damn Seroquel or some drugs. I can't sleep. I'm having these crazy thoughts. You think about hurting yourself? And that's the key. You can't say that because they'll send you to the damn hole. But if you say, no, but I think about man, damn, I just have these I just get real frustrated. And it's I just have a bunch of rage in me. I don't want to hurt anybody, but you telling the story, Seroquel him out. What they don't tell you is that Seroquel is attached to a dollar sign. which means that to house and take care of you, it's going to require what? More money, fiscally, which means that they have to get more money from the federal government to take care of you. So they don't have no problem medicating your ass up and doping you up and keeping you at a sedated state so that you easy to control and you easy to kind of monitor. It makes their job easy, right? You high as hell, so you ain't complaining, and they getting more money on the state level for your ass. So it's a vicious cycle when you're dealing with what we call penitentiary heroin. So all you dudes out here who tooting and booting, sneaking and geeking, you understand what I'm saying? You're playing with your nose. You out here thinking you're popping Molly and you're popping damn meth laced with fentanyl, and you're smoking weed laced with fentanyl, and everything else you touch, you got fentanyl in it, and you get up in there and you start having them DTs, some detoxes, and the withdrawal symptoms, and you bowl. The closest thing that you're going to run to is going to be an opioid. You know, even if it's a generic version of Seroquel or a drug like it, you get a hold to it and start playing with it. It's a lot different than when dudes out here mixing and playing with the drugs and stamping stuff. They don't know exactly what they're doing. They don't have the science down pat. When you get in there and it's specific and it's time release and you popping them like it's nothing because you don't feel them, and you're drinking coffee and experiencing crazy spasms, rage, fighting and shit for no reason early in the morning. Dude ain't even had their coffee yet and just spaz out on his bunkie, kicking him in the face, hitting him upside the head with the damn TV, right? Then you see him 7, 8 months later after he done got out the hole and came back from level 4, or a year later. You understand what I'm saying? And you like, damn, dog, man, them fucking pills, man. They got me on some other stuff now, but them pills used to have me want to just, you understand me? So I caution y'all, stay away from a lot of the bullshit if you can here while you out here free. But if you got somebody incarcerated or you plan on getting incarcerated, stay away from that shit, man. It ain't good for you. And it ain't nothing good for you if it ain't prescribed to you. And everything that you think is good for you should still be done in moderation. Take caution, take heed. I love y'all. Thanks for tuning in again. Till next time, OG Kenny. Don't forget to hit the subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification, to like, to share, and to get in the comment section and share some stories with me that you may have had with Seroquel, antidepressant, or antipsychotic drugs, and the side effects of them, man. That's what we're talking about. O_G_Kenny at Retire from the Streets TV. I'm out.